Wow.
Sup?
Sup?
We're back.
Yep. Take two.
Take two because someone didn't press record. Fucking asshole.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. We'll try to make it a little bit shorter today.
Yeah,
as
bro.
well. Yeah.
What time shall we go to?
Like till like 3:40. Oh, 4:40.
4:40? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all good, bro. No worries. Yeah, 4:40 is a good time.
Yeah, 50-minute mark, maybe half hour, like I should have said. Like maybe cut it short. If we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
Let's definitely try that out and see how that goes. So yeah, we're talking about what national is centre right, but well, that's what I think, and you disagree.
They don't go against like LGBTQ. They don't stand up for like exactly what the Republicans stand for in USA.
Definitely, I think that's yeah. That doesn't really compare.
Yeah, and to be fair, neither Labour or National can compare to the Liberals in USA either. They're just their own separate parties. For New Zealand, we're more worried about our people. That's what Labour is for, and National for our money, pretty much. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I guess like that's a real like overall way of thinking about it, eh?
Yeah.
And plus, like the whole left and right camps are still real big and broad, and they can't be really defined because like there's like the social aspect of it. So social liberalism, that means like to do what you want to do in society, right? And then there's like economic liberalism, which means just lower taxes. So the government doesn't take your money, so you're free to do whatever you want with your own money. You get it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So national is all about the economic liberalism. So like lower taxes than Labour anyway, or like than the left, and the left is all about social liberalism, meaning that like you should have the rights to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
LGBTQ, women's rights,
Yeah.
etc.
But like National won't stop themselves. It won't be like, hey, you guys can't do this. It's like they're just happy with it.
Yeah.
It's a progressive nation. It's just depending on which party you choose at that time will result in like either the money or the people. It's just that's it.
Do you think, and personally, do you think that there's preference over one or the other? Like there's like one should be important than the other, or are they both important in their own right? So money itself, and then society, not about money.
Yeah. Exactly that. Yeah. They're important in its own rights. Like we needed National at one point to get ourselves out of the, I think it's called depression or the regression. I can't remember what it's called.
The housing bubble that popped 0809, or the crashing of Wall Street, was that one?
Yeah, crashing of Wall Street, I think. I'm not too sure, but I know like because
Anish doesn't know shit. He didn't do economics.
I don't do eco at all. I don't want to be an Indian.
Oh, let's jump into that fun conversation. Anish, so you're fucking white. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh shit, I feel sorry for you.
Why?
Well, it depends how you want to take it.
What do you mean? I don't personally call myself like Indian or Fijian Indian. I say I'm Kiwi.
Fuck yeah, because oh shit, sorry. Yeah, I think like when I've thought about it, there's three ways that I identify myself. Right, the first is through my national identity. That's me being a Kiwi.
Yeah.
A New Zealander. Right. The second is like my ethnic identity. Like that's more about like my biology. So like my genes can be traced back to India. Right? If we did like a test and all that sort of stuff, it would be back to India, and that's where most of my ancestry comes from, that place. And my third one is my cultural identity, which means like any changes in geography. So I'm Fiji Indian. Like that's where my culture comes from, which I put as separate as my ethnic identity, because I do believe that ethnicity and culture can be two different things. Most of the time, yeah, they're like joined, but I think they also can be separate. So for me, there's three different sorts of identities, and I don't know which one like defines me more. So that they are three, but I don't know. Like I think sometimes I'm more this identity, my national one, and sometimes I'm more ethnic, and sometimes I'm more cultural. But I'm never like set in stone. I can be fluid, culture fluid,
Culture fluid.
identity fluid in those three.
So wait, culture was Fiji, was it?
Culture is Fiji Indian.
National is Kiwi.
Yep.
And ethnic is Indian.
Yeah.
Oh, India.
Yeah.
See, okay, see, mine would, okay, because that makes more sense, actually. So I would, yeah, ethnic is definitely Indian, right? So if it was down into a piece of form, my ethnicity would be Indian. And then I can't put down Pacific Islander, even though my parents are from Fiji, but they don't have any Fiji blood in them.
Exactly. So it's like ethnicity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. So that's my definition of like ethnicity as like your fucking genes.
Yeah. Okay, so my genes is Indian, but for me, cultural would be Kiwi. Would
Right.
be more Kiwi, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Do you think? Okay, yeah. I totally understand what you mean. Fiji Indian. Yeah. So I guess I have a bit of that as well. So Fiji Indian and Kiwi as both under my cultural identity. So, but also, so national identity is a New Zealander. But is that separate from a Kiwi identity? No, right? Right. So I've gotten some of my national identity, meaning like where I was born and brought up. So my environment, right? It's like how I speak, my accent, how I talk, cause like it's all those sorts of things, which is part of that Kiwi bit of me, right? But then there's like the not the Indian aspect, but the Fiji Indian aspect of me, of my parents and my grandparents, like being Indian in a different country that's not India. So that feeds into the cultural aspect. Yeah.
Because, like, I don't speak on behalf of my parents, but my parents are Kiwi. Like, they are definitely Kiwi because just the way they act as well. If I look at my parents and people from Fiji,
yeah,
and they were Fijian Indian, I would see two different cultures. Like,
I think that's a privilege that you have, though, being able to
see that.
Yeah, because I think people who are not in either culture or not Indian won't be able to see a difference in between your parents being Kiwi and them not being more Kiwi. Like, but we can see a difference because I think we have a better scope. Like we have, I guess, a privilege of being a part of two distinct cultures and knowing the differences between them and knowing the differences within each culture as well.
Yeah, in saying that you don't actually have to be born in that sort of family, you just have to be able to observe it. Because I see India's parents who aren't Fijian Indian, they're just Indian, they're Gujarati Indians, right? And I see their parents as full on Kiwi. I mean, they're dairy owners, so they interact with Kiwis on a daily basis. So they've become real Kiwi-like as well. Like Bindia's auntie, who just looks full on Indian, speaks English very, very fluently as well, and says a lot of English slang as well.
Yeah.
Like, cuz, bro, what are you up to? Like,
and she was an immigrant.
Yeah, she was an immigrant, right? And then I see Bindia's like uncle and aunties from India.
Yeah.
And I can see like a huge cultural difference because I'm like, okay, yeah, Bindia's parents are definitely Kiwi.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're Indian, but they're also Kiwi. So yeah, your culture can be more than just one nation.
Exactly. Yeah. So the culture transcends ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
It's a separate thing. So that's sort of like a similar way. But I think people who are outside of that ethnicity and that culture will find it hard to understand the culture, the differences within other people's cultures.
Yeah.
They might paint, because you are this ethnicity, you are this one big culture as well. So that's how sometimes it's seen as from the outside, because your ethnicity like is like a marker, I guess, of what practices or what customs that you're part of, and that's painted with like a broad brush.
So if we were to look at Samoans, Kiwi Samoans, and then Samoans from Samoa, we wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
if we saw them.
Yeah, if we saw two side by side, wearing the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
We wouldn't. Well, would find it a lot harder.
Yeah,
to tell the difference.
Harder. Yeah.
But people who are Samoan and like who are
Kiwi
or who are Kiwi would find it way easier. Be like, I can just tell that person does because of this, this, and this. I can tell this and this. I can tell this.
This is actually really cool.
What is?
Just being able to, like, I know it's like making more, like, segregating people sort of and like grouping people, but it's sort of cool just to be a part of like being able to tell the difference between this and that.
Exactly.
It's actually really cool.
That's why I think it's a privilege for us to be in the situation, to have got the chance to grow up in two separate cultures and being able to tell the difference about sort of stuff. And like, it's not only part of just our culture. We know that like it's part of other cultures as well. So I think immigrants or immigrant children like me and you like have this sort of real cool window that we can view the world in, like a real cool lens, because we can have two different lenses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we can speak two different languages, like, and well, I guess it's not totally half and half because it never is like totally half and half, but like we can sort of move in between those two different cultures and like still be cool and like still know what is going on.
Yeah, and then you know how you've got people who are just like, oh, that's cultural appropriation. It's like, no, you're just enjoying that part of culture from somebody else's culture because you just want to be a part of it because it's cool. Like you see someone else do their thing and you like, you want to learn that, you want to like embrace their culture just slightly. That's not cultural appropriation, is it?
Okay, is it? Okay, do you think this is cultural appropriation? I want to wear a turban because it looks cool, right? And I'm Indian, right? And I want to wear it maybe for a dance or a performance, or I just want to wear it just as a costume, right? Is that cultural appropriation?
That's not cultural appropriation though. Because appropriation is when you take it away from that culture.
Am I taking it away from them by doing it in a dance?
Ooh. No, you're not. You're like representing them.
Or wearing it. So isn't cultural appropriation just cultural representation? Like, if I wear a bindi, just for wearing a bindi, is that fine? Like, oh wait, if I was a girl, right? Because there's this whole like thing about bindis or like the red bit of the hair or whatever, the sindoor, isn't it? Yeah.
Sindoor, yeah.
Yeah, like doing that just for fun is appropriation because it means something in a certain culture.
Even if it means something in a certain culture, like as an Indian, I find it cool somebody's embracing our culture.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I see, okay, like I know this is gonna sound a bit racist, but when I see a white person, an English person, a Maori, a Samoan wearing like, well, the girls mainly wearing Indian clothes, I'm like, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Oh, you wore that nicely. Like,
it's cool, right?
It's real cool. It's excellent. Like, and then, you know, and then there are gonna be some points where like people are half caste, right? Like a few of my cousins who wear like saris or Indian clothes, and it's like, oh, so if a random stranger saw them, would they think that it's cultural appropriation even though they are Indian?
I think it's appropriation. Oh, fuck, that's the hard one, man. I don't know.
See, like, because that's when people are just assuming shit.
Yeah, people just assuming stuff. Because that's the thing. Like, I think appropriation comes with an assumption that they're wearing it without understanding the context behind it.
The thing is, you don't need to understand the context behind it. You just... once you, like, wear it and stuff, like... You're just raising sort of a slight awareness.
Awareness,
people, right? Like people are just going like, "Hey, that's a cool like get up. What are you wearing? What is this all about?" And then you'll end up like understanding it. But at the start, it's like if I ever wanted to wear like Chinese clothes or something like that, like formal clothes, that's so cool. Like what they wear,
traditional warrior sort of type of like stuff.
Like
the breast plate and all that.
Like,
right.
Like Law's outfit.
All right, the martial arts ones.
Yeah, like wearing that and like not having to understand where it's coming from. I reckon that should be fine. I reckon it's just like you're just wearing it because you think it looks cool.
Right. So that's where that line is like real hard to put, because like if I want to wear like a martial arts uniform, I want to be able to represent that as best I can in my mind as well at the same time. You know what I mean? So like if it's like wearing like a black belt. It's just a belt. It looks cool and stuff, but I'm not gonna wear one if I'm not up to that standard of understanding what it means to be this black belt person. Know what I mean?
Yeah, but then that just makes Halloween boring. Like cosplay boring.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you could end up saying that about cosplay as well, because
Correct.
people are just dressing up as characters. In some cases, these people are just doing it out of fun because it's their hobby. They don't understand the character. They don't understand, like, they don't, like, you just don't need to like, as long as you're just not making a mockery.
I think cosplayers do like get into it deeply and they do understand. Like I have no problem with like cosplays, and I don't think a lot of people do.
No, nobody has problems
Nobody
with
has
cosplay
problems because like they're involved in it so much that I do understand it.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think there are some cases where they're just a model, and they don't actually understand.
Right, right.
Like
that's when it gets into, oh, so you're just doing this for money.
Yeah, you're doing it just for money, but that's fine because you're looking at it and you're like, that's a cool
cool
outfit.
Who designed it?
You should be earning money for like just, and like I would have to say, like, wouldn't that also be a culture as well? Doing like the anime and manga stuff, all the cartoon TV shows, that's another culture in itself. Culture is like very diverse.
Yeah, the definition of culture can apply to anything, like even like a workplace culture, like where you work, like Pack and Save where I used to work, that had like a certain culture that may be different to other Pack and Save cultures. It can go real small, right? But that's the thing. So I don't know, in this context, am I talking about culture in what way as well? Because it's like a huge, broad, it can be defined in so many different ways.
So many different ways, yeah. And it's just, I feel like everybody should just be okay with it and just let it merge. Like, let it happen. It's going to happen. I reckon cultures are going to merge. Like, the more people hang on to just, like, be gatekeepers to their cultures, it's just, you're just making sure everything stays segregated. I'm gonna, like...
You want everything to be like a one-world government?
Not a one-world government, but, like, I want everybody to be like, hey, this is this is that. Like, enjoy it. Just have fun with it.
So, you're saying, like, accepting other people's cultures?
Depending if it's ethical or not. Like, if it's ethical, then you can accept it. If it's not ethical, like beheading someone, then like, no, you don't need to accept that.
But then, like, what's the ethics? Like, I have different ethics, you have different ethics. How do we come together to form a ethics where we agree on it? So there was a scenario in like this meeting or some diplomatic sort of event or something happened, and like this female diplomat went to shake hands with a Iranian man diplomat, and the Iranian dude didn't shake hands. So she was like that, like probably like hi or something, and then he did not shake her hand back. He might have said something else, like bowed or something. I don't know the full story. But like there are some people on Twitter and like just everywhere there's a conversation going on, is like, was he being rude when he didn't return that handshake? So that's part of her ethics, right? Of like, when I meet someone, I will shake your hand, right? His ethics is, and part of his culture as well, is that we respectfully don't engage with women in public. Men engage with men, women, or touching, we don't engage in touching women, we don't engage in touching men. That's their ethics. And their argument for it is like, because we respect the woman, we don't look at them in public, we don't want to put pressure on them, etc., right? That's in their culture, that's their understanding. So in his mind, it was the right thing to do to not touch her. That was a thing. But in her mind, it's like, you don't shake my hand. So again, like,
okay,
what do you know?
It's dependent on the situation. But at that, okay, like I can understand where he's coming from. Like he's been born and raised to not touch women and not even look at women in public, right?
Correct.
But like, there's also one thing that he has to understand is that she gave him consent when she brought out her hand for him to be like, oh, okay, so this is fine. I think that's where they get it wrong, where it's just like that person's consenting to it, and I don't think they understand consent that too much. Like in some countries, let's be honest, like that was a form of consent, shaking hands, like just for hand holding, like just to shake hands. Putting your hand out like this to someone, directly to someone, means, hey, I give you consent to shake my hand, right? And I think he should have shaken her hand because that was just their consent. And on top of that, okay, what country were they in when this was
exactly happening? That part I don't know.
Okay,
but in reply to that, if Iranian the public saw that, then they would see him as a rude person because he touched a woman, right? So then he would get less support or whatever, and then be voted out or something.
And then at that point, they just need to be taught, educated. Like, this is how it is in other countries.
Exactly. So who changes? They change or we change?
Well, progressively speaking, they need to change.
Again, like, shaking hands is a very Western thing, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, like.
Oh, yeah, it is actually. Yeah, Easterns are just like.
Yeah, there's bows. There's the namaste pose. Yeah. There's the hongi. That's very traditional. There's like the kisses.
Yeah.
And like the romance countries or whatever, right?
There's different ways of thing.
Of greeting, right? And there's and even verbal.
Verbal, yeah. No, you made
Salam alaikum, walaikum salam, adab. Like, even those things, bro. Those are all greetings. Shaking hands is a very, like, Western thing to do. It's not the universal, is what I'm saying. It's a cultural difference.
Cultural difference.
And it's not. And so why should the Western ideal of shaking hands be the one that we do?
Actually, yeah, no, you make a good point there. Yeah, no, he wasn't being rude. I think like neither was she. Nobody was being rude in that case. It was just more of just some misunderstanding.
Exactly. That I think that's all it was, is like a misunderstanding of culture. So how would one solve this? I reckon a real crazy idea would be like to set a type of greeting for that event. So for example, whatever, right? Just be like, okay. But then get crazy too. Like, I'm telling you how to greet,
and stuff.
Right? You have to touch a woman this time. Yeah. You know, but in that way, like, how are we gonna talk to? One another,
no. You can't set a rule on that.
Yeah.
I guess the best way to do it is to do the most okay. How would you call that? So what's shaking hands compared to not shaking hands? Like, what's one side, what's the other?
What?
Like, let's say it's a spectrum, right?
Okay.
Not touching each other, not talking to each other, not touching each other, holding hands, and then kissing each other's cheeks like the French do, right?
Okay.
Because that's a little bit more than shaking hands. I mean, if we greeted each other kissing cheeks, we would be like, what the fuck?
Exactly, because it's not part of our culture.
But in France, it's normal. It's normal, right?
Yeah.
So, like, okay, we call it what's one side to the other? Like, I want to call one side something and the other side something else.
Oh.
Yeah. Just French and...
Intimate and non-intimate?
Intimate and non-intimate. There we go. Thank you. Yes! Alright. I reckon we should go... if it's between two countries, right? We should go to the more non-intimate one.
Oh, okay.
Like, that does mean that the French and people of France would have to stop their kissing.
Yeah.
For majority of the time, but it's to make sure you're not
offending anyone.
Not offending. It's just not. It's to make sure that that person is not uncomfortable.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, to make sure
that could be a good system as well. because the more intimate you get, the more sort of not good it gets. The more intimate it gets, the more people say no, right?
Yeah, the more people say, yeah.
I'm not gonna cross that line.
Yeah.
So you want them to not cross the line.
Yeah. And you just gotta make other people comfortable around you as well. But but there was this one story like a few years ago where people in Sweden, it was Sweden, and the teachers shake hands with their with their students before they enter the class.
All right.
That's their culture. And well, being Muslim, you can't touch another the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Right. So some students got put into detention because they wouldn't shake their hands of their female teachers.
Right.
And then the parents got mad about that. What do you feel about that?
Shit.
See, I honestly believe that the teacher was on the right. You're in this country.
Right.
You've got to conform to it. Otherwise, like, I know this is going to sound very backwards, but go back to your country if you're going to act like that. Like, you've got to adapt.
Right. So that's where, so culture, I reckon. So when I talk about culture in this context, I talk about like location as well. So culture is tied to locations, but sometimes not. I mean, Fiji Indian is not a location. Fiji India is not a location. Fiji is, and India is. Well, I guess it is like tied to a location. Oh, fine. So you're an immigrant to a Swedish. Wait, were they immigrants or refugees?
Yes. Oh, like
they weren't like
I can't
white
remember.
Swedish Muslims.
No, they weren't. They were like, I think their parents were immigrants and they were born in Sweden or something like that.
All right. So their parents made a definite choice to move to Sweden. All right.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's another thing. So they moved to Sweden. So they know that they're going to be part of a different culture. So they have to give up some of their own culture to accommodate the host culture. So what do you do? Yeah. How much of your own culture do you retain? And how much do you accept other people's culture when it doesn't match your ethnic culture? It's a difficult thing. I have no idea, man.
It's difficult, but at the same time, like, you're being rude.
Hey, but it's not rude from the Muslim kid's side. It's not rude. It's being respectful.
Well, it's
not touching a woman's hand from their point of view.
From their point of view, but then the parents can't go at them because they moved to this country going, look, we left our country because there was not a.
How young are the kids?
Like 10 or some shit.
So we can't put it on them.
No, you can't put it on the kids. Like, the kids were just doing what their parents told them. But, as a Kiwi, right?
Yeah.
If we move to Australia, we'll have to adapt to Australian behavior.
It's not that different, though. It's like us moving to, like, Spain, right?
Yeah.
Or something, or Brazil.
Then we have to adapt to it because we're moving to a different country. Like, if we were moving,
would we start kissing people? Like if we had kids
and we moved to another country and we greet people kissing,
we'd say you have to kiss other people.
Yeah,
and I would too, right?
Yeah,
exactly. So I think the religion thing, or is it a cultural thing? This touching hands.
It's
cultural.
It's both? Religion. Because think about it. They don't even allow men and women to be in the same area in a mosque.
Okay, so
that's
it might transcend. Yeah, it might transcend. But culture and religion are tied together as well, heaps, especially in the Middle East, man.
Yeah,
and India too, right? Like
definitely.
Culture, like this.
Yeah, no. So back to that. Who do you think was in the wrong, the teacher or the parents?
From my point of view, because I live in a liberal country, I would say that the kids should just shake hands, right? But again, that's from my point of view, right? Like, that's my
your opinion,
subjective thought on that. But people in that culture who are actually doing the thing, they think it's right from their point. Like, the parents don't think they're wrong. clearly, right? They think that they are doing the right thing, the correct thing, the most noble thing you can do is not shake hands, right? From their point of view. Like, that's the right thing to do. It's so hard for us to think that they're right, right?
No, I can actually understand that they think they're right, but you're in a different setting, you're in a different place where the culture is completely different, where you have to adapt to it, or you move to another country that doesn't, do that. Like, if you want to live the way you were living, then you honestly go back to your own country, like, cause like, what's the point in changing?
Or take a kid out of school.
Or take your kid out of school. Yeah, that could be another.
If you're that gonna be concerned, but yeah. So if you still want to live in Sweden and get all the
benefits
of living in a more peaceful society, let's put it that way, because the Middle East is like fucked, right?
Yeah, it's completely fucked. Like, that's the truth.
True. Just
hard
put it hard facts.
Edit fact. You're gonna do that now, aren't you?
What?
You're just gonna like put a fact. No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
I'm just doing that.
Is this an F?
No. It looks like you're just doing a gang sign now. I don't even know. It's just, no.
Fuck the pole. No, I'm not gonna say anything. Okay, so but back to what I was saying. Yeah, I think from my point of view, they should convert to Swedish culture and shake hands with the teachers.
Yeah, it doesn't mean fully convert. It just means that this little aspect. I mean, it is a big aspect, but this part of your life has to change for you to live peacefully in that country.
Right. So that's where we would draw the line, right? We have to impose that on you. I'm sorry for taking away your right to not shake hands. But that's another thing. Are we taking away the right to not shake hands?
No, we're giving them the right to shake hands with the opposite gender. That's not getting rid of a right. That's actually giving them more rights and more responsibility. So
should the Iranian minister have shaken that person's hand?
No.
Yeah.
Just
how is it different?
Because he's not living in another country. He's representing his own country
and his values that come from it, which are also anti-Western. And the handshake is a Western ideal.
Yeah, right? Well, he's representing his country like that. At that point, like, if he can get his country to be more like open and more intimate, like that side, not kissy, the intimate side, more towards intimate, then he would be able to shake hands without getting any backlash from his own country, right? Because that's what I'm thinking about as well. He's probably also thinking about that as well. Like, if he's going to shake another woman's hand, he's going to receive backlash in his country, but he's going to make sure his country first is acceptable of like being a little bit more intimate with other countries at least, right? Then he can actually do it. But because these immigrants actually move to another country, they're not representing their country. Right. They're part of a new country. Yes, they have their own culture and they're representing their own culture, but in this part, their culture has to a little bit change accordingly, so that they can live peacefully in that country. Otherwise, they're just going to have a cry about every little thing, like somebody's wearing a bikini.
I know. So like, it's like imposing your culture on other people, especially when because the shaking hands thing involves another person within the culture, right? Yeah. Like, for example, like, would you say rugby is part of NZ culture? Yeah. Would you say eating beef is part of, or beef is part of NZ culture? Yeah. Right? I don't play rugby. I watch rugby though, so that could be argued. But I don't eat beef either. Right? Should I be made, or should I be somehow made to eat beef and play rugby? Otherwise, I'm not a Kiwi. No. So there's like a line where it'd be like, no, you can still be a Kiwi without doing this, but you have to shake hands with. Do you know what I mean? So like, there's lots of things. Yeah. So in that instance, you think that no, we should not allow them to say no to a handshake. We should make them do a handshake. What I'm saying is that, like, so again, should you have the right to not partake in something that you don't want to partake in?
Yeah, you have the right to do that. Except,
so just be like, I don't want to shake your hand.
But if it,
because otherwise you're forcing someone to like do an act.
To do an act, yeah, but it's a respectful act, though. That's the thing,
but not from their point of view.
Not from their point of, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, it's like the reason why your country is full of shit is because you're not progressing forward.
I think we can't. I don't think we should impose it on them and make them do it. I think they should just. We should, through education and stuff like that, and then be allowed to. Don't make it like you have to fucking do this.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's like if you don't want to do it and this is part of their culture, don't go there. Like if we were to go to a Muslim country, right? And like let's say me and my partner wanted to go, right? I want to be holding her hands in public. I can't do that in that country, can I? So why would I want to go there? Like if I want to speak freely, why would I go to a country that, like North Korea, who won't let you speak freely? Because if you speak ill of Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-un,
good old Kim.
If you want to speak ill of him, right?
Then you're fucked. You're dead.
You're fucked in North Korea. So don't go to North Korea. Like, if you want to go to Sweden and not shake the teacher's hands, then don't go to Sweden. Like, that's just that. It's just like you have to adapt. Like if you're gonna move countries, you have to adapt. If you're gonna move jobs, you have to adapt.
All right.
If you're gonna move schools, you have to adapt.
Okay, there was a situation back in primary school.
Yeah.
We had a swimming pool, and we had a girl who was Muslim who was there as well. She never swam because it was boys and girls mix. So we had swimming 3 times a week, right? And twice out of the week we'd all jump in, but the Muslim girl would sit out both times. On the 3rd time, it would be half the time for boys, then half the time for girls, to include that one Muslim girl for that time, right? So to keep Kiwi culture, we would have just had mix all 3 days, boys and girls the whole time, right? But unfortunately, the Muslim girl would have been left out. Or we could have switched to having boys and girls days every day, the 3 times, and have her swim every time. So she's like everybody else. But the teacher, for some reason, just made that small adjustment so she could come to 1 out of 3 times. So like, that's like an adjustment that you make for someone else's culture, right? So is there a middle ground in the handshaking one? So like, is there like you can either shake the hand or not shake the hand, or you could say you could bow, you could say something else, you could try and find some other middle ground where both parties are okay with it, right? Is there something like that in the situation?
Well, I'm not too sure about Sweden.
High five? Like, is that
not even a high five? Like, you can't touch another gender. And in your case, with the swimming pool stuff, it was just pandering to one girl. Like, you don't want to make a field left out, but
she was already left out because she was a minority.
Yeah.
And she never swam. So, like, one of the things about New Zealand is like, it's really, really good skill if you know how to fucking swim, right? And if we don't allow immigrants the opportunity to learn how to swim, then I would just be discriminatory.
We're not, but at the same, it's not
inclusive.
But that was good on the teacher's part of including her, but it's bad on the parents' part for excluding her.
Right.
Like,
that's
bad on the parents' part for excluding her. Otherwise, the teacher could have just gone half-time boys, half-time girls. Like, the teacher could have just done that. That's perfectly fine. Like, everybody would have been okay with that. But it's like, it's so much easier just to have all boys and girls in one swimming pool.
Correct.
Otherwise, would have
And why make a change just for one
person, right? And like the teacher did it for the one student only on one day as well.
Out of the 3, right?
Out
So
of the
it was
3.
an adjustment, right?
It was a small
Middle
adjustment.
ground,
Yeah. So she made sure that the girl was included, but her parents made sure that she stayed excluded by not letting her go into the swimming pool
with other boys.
With other boys.
Right. But so from your point of view, you're saying the teacher, the parents excluding her is a bad thing.
Yeah, because
you're making a value judgment on it, right?
Yeah.
But from their point of view, it's a good thing to make that exclusion.
To make that exclusion.
Because they're part of that culture who goes that way, and they were immigrants here. Are you saying that those immigrants should completely move?
No, not completely move.
To the ideals and values of Kiwis?
But
because they're living in this culture? Because they moved to New Zealand?
No, not completely move. Like, find a middle ground. Like the teacher did. The teacher found a middle ground.
Yeah.
But there are some things where you just need to swap over. Like, they ultimately excluded the girl from the rest of the class because of this little act. Well, big act.
The parents
excluded their child from the rest of the class. Like, was she allowed to talk to the boys?
Yeah, we talked and stuff. Yeah.
High five?
Yeah, high five. I don't know about high fives, but we played KO, stuff like that, tag and all that shit.
Tag and stuff. Yeah, see, that's good.
Those are all like. But the swimming thing, like the sort of like less clothes, maybe naked, water, that sort of scenario, bathing. It's more like that. No, bath, shower, etc.
Wear some skins, gee, all good.
Yeah, but that's
like no, but like again, ultimately she excluded.
For the parents, it was a middle ground as well. Like, I don't know what to do here. Let's just not get involved in that because I'm not sure. Could have been that way as well.
Yeah, it could have been that way, but like you came to a country where heavily you need to swim to survive. Because if there's a massive earthquake and a tsunami hits, bro, New Zealand's going under. But like for that little girl, she was excluded, and everybody knows excluding people is not the way to go about it. You'll always end up in an argument. You'll end up disagreeing with each other if you exclude everybody.
Right.
Always got to include, and that's what the parents did. And I honestly don't agree with that because they excluded this little girl from swimming 2 times a week.
From their point of view, it's like that was the right thing to do, though. So the teacher made the adjustment. You're saying the parents should have made the adjustment
as well. Like they should have made the adjustment as well. Like the teacher went so far to do this,
right?
To make one session out of the 3 sessions to make sure she at least learns how to swim.
So how could the parents have made the adjustment?
By letting her swim. Just by letting her swim.
On all 3 days?
On all 3 days, yeah.
Okay.
By letting her swim on all 3 days. Otherwise, go back to your country. Where they aren't allowed to swim together.
Oh, I don't know, man. That's real tough.
It's rude. Hard. I know it's rude.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if you're not going to adapt to, like,
that's difficult,
she also, the parents also stopped the child from learning as much as you guys did. The rest of you guys learned so much more than she did.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, okay, so in my, like, year 10 class, we were studying sex education.
Yeah, in year 10.
In year 10, yeah.
Miss Brelsford?
No, it was PE.
Yeah.
Puberty, sex education.
Oh, that one. So not in like AIDS, so not in science, in health.
In health, right?
Oh, okay.
And one of the students, he has Christian parents. He is now a father, like a pastor or something. I don't know, right? But he was excluded from that education because the parents were like, "No, you can't.
Ooh.
You can't learn the stuff." And it's like that's the same thing as I feel about the like their parents stopped him from learning basic,
sex education.
Basic sex education to stop himself from getting AIDS and,
wear a condom correctly.
Wear a condom and how babies are born.
Check your balls and shit.
Yeah,
like
all that
and
shit.
Stuff.
Right? That's the same way.
Check your balls, yo.
Yeah, check your balls. That's how I feel about the kid as well. The kid did not receive as much education as the rest of you guys.
I understand your point now. So the parents disadvantaged their own child because of some values that they had, which in New Zealand we deem as wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So they should convert to that part of NZ culture because that's something that we don't allow.
Yeah.
So those sort of rights and freedoms for the kid, if they want to. But then again, like, does the kids have right? So
the kid has a complete right to be like, no, I don't want to swim today. Because most of the time I was like, no, I don't want to swim. The water is fucking cold. I ain't going in that shit.
Exactly.
I'm gonna do some
so
lines.
I don't know about. So that's a very difficult thing because parents can influence their kids heaps, especially in Asian cultures.
Yeah.
Right? Because parents always want to please kids always want to please their parents and like, fine, I will do as you say, right? But if I want to fucking swim, then maybe I should. Well, if I want to swim, I should fucking swim, right?
Yeah, but the kids don't think by themselves. They don't have a fully developed brain.
Exactly.
Or at least
so
they are pre-pubescent, like before puberty and stuff. Like they're not thinking for themselves. They're just having fun.
Yeah.
Being told what to do.
Like when you're like, I see. Oh, what's the time as well? It's 4:30.
4:30.
Oh yeah. I saw this thing. I can't remember where I saw it, or maybe I thought of it or something. But it was like this white parent asking her daughter, "It's like, oh, so what do you want to wear today? Do you want to wear this dress or do you want to wear this dress?" So like, the parents are giving their child a choice
yeah.
to wear. Whereas like, I think it's like a Samoan parent or something like that, and it was, hey, put this on. Put this on.
This is the same with us, yo.
Like, that's
my parents would be like, "No, you're not wearing a hoodie today. You're wearing a fucking suit."
Yeah. And they come out wearing it, right? It's like, no, go change, like,
yeah,
right. Whereas the white parent will be like, "Oh, you're wearing something really interesting today. Are you sure you want to wear that to the thing?" Like, yeah, I think this. Like, okay, cool. Well, that's fine, sweetie. Let's go jump in the car. And then like it cuts to like some other culture. I think it was like Islander.
Yeah.
Sure. And then he walks out with like wearing like half like a singlet shirt. He's like, wait, go put a shirt on. Go to church. Like, so that freedom that I think the Kiwi culture gives us heaps, right?
Yeah.
But then other Asian or Middle Eastern cultures are a lot more tight, and they don't want to allow that much freedom. They still have a lot of rights over their child. So it's like the whole family sort of unit as well. So how tight or how loose is it?
Yeah.
How much rights do we give our children?
Yeah, but like disadvantage them, like giving them a disadvantage in education. That's just sucky. And no doubt,
correct.
Our generation who have kids, right, who have parents from like other countries who are immigrants. Our generation are going to give our kids more freedom than what we got. Just plainly because we understand both cultures better, like you said before. It's just, you put a kid at a disadvantage there. That's not fair.
Yeah, that's the line. Fair. I think the way to solve it out is it has to be like, you have to understand both cultures, or both the parent and the teacher should have come together, sat down, and just talked about it without the child there, and the aim of the conversation would be for the teacher to understand the culture from the parent's point of view, and the parents to understand the importance of the teachers or the Kiwi point of view. Right? Education is paramount. We live like 98% of the population lives like 50 km from the water, or like some shit like that. So like, it's imperative that you know how to swim. And by not allowing your child to swim because of this value that you have, part of your culture, you are putting your child at a disadvantage and more risk. In Iran or wherever, I'm not sure which country she was part of, but maybe there was no reason to know how to swim and stuff, and therefore water and being in it, the only other thing that they have to compare with that is like a bath or like a shower, which is like nakedness and stuff like that and being too open. I mean, they be covered up and stuff, right? So
Yeah,
that's like
no.
the total opposite, you know?
Yeah.
So and that sort of thing. But she never wore a burqa though, or like a headscarf or a hijab though. She never wore that.
I don't think the young ones do.
No, some do. Don't you remember Hamdi?
I don't know.
The small African girl who was pretty short. She always wore one.
Didn't go to your school.
No, it was like Avi's age. It was back in Newtown School. Oh, you didn't go to Newtown School.
I
Sorry,
went to
bro.
Barabodji.
No, sorry.
But the fact that she didn't wear a hijab. Why would... Okay. Yeah, alright.
I know it's complicated as, man, but like,
yeah.
that's what I like talking about. It's like where
you draw the line.
Where do we draw the line, man?
For the kids, you draw the line where you make sure that they don't get a disadvantage. That in education or anything, because you're giving them the privilege of living in a first world country.
Correct. Way more liberal, like way more opportunities to succeed, successful, less risk of dying by a bomb.
Like you're...
Well, it's true.
I mean, we could get hit by one of Kim Jong-un's rockets, can't we?
Yeah, probably, because we're pretty close by, eh?
Yeah. No, like, you have so many opportunities in New Zealand. Like, in New Zealand alone, why do you want to put your child at a disadvantage? Like,
right. That's why you moved, right? To have more opportunities for your kid.
Yeah. Otherwise...
So why are you stopping them from doing stuff now that you're here?
And, like... You're going to stop them from playing sports. You're going to stop them from swimming. You're going to stop them from learning sex education, like a vital thing in our human biology, like stuff like that, things that we can sort of control now. You know, you want to stop all of that. Go back to your... I know this is rude, but go back to your country if you're going to...
If you can't deal with it, then just go somewhere else. I wouldn't say go back to your own country. I would say go somewhere else where they accept that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. Go somewhere else. Don't... Because everybody here is just going to be like... the fact that your teacher did that to adapt means that your teacher understands from their point of view, but... like
she wants to be inclusive.
Yeah, she wanted to be inclusive, and she made sure that the kid didn't get a full disadvantage.
Yeah. So, like, so my teacher was like the bomb. I was her teacher's pet, but that's a different story. But well, I always was a teacher's pet. I was that kid in school, in primary school. But yeah, she was real nice, and she tried to do something to include that one student, which is which is good. It is good. But the same thing could sort of be argued for LGBTQ rights and being included, and the government should be more inclusive and include them and stuff.
They are included.
Exactly, but they want more inclusion.
What's more inclusion?
More inclusion probably would mean that I want boy-girl days every day. Right? So that version of it. So do you know how like the girl got the I get to swim on one day?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is a certain level of inclusiveness. Yeah. Right? And maybe that's where LGBTQ rights are from the LGBTQ people. That's where they might think they are. But maybe they want to be able to swim on all 3 days like everyone else. And maybe they want their rules to be imposed. LGBTQ people want their rules to be imposed more.
Okay. So like, give me a rule that isn't at the moment.
So like, there's no compulsion to use other pronouns which aren't he or she or they, like Z and Zer and shit. Like, I don't have to call you that if you want to be called that. That's not punishable by law.
Well, it shouldn't be punishable by law either.
That's not hate speech either.
That's not hate speech or punishable by law. But if you want people to say things like that, then you've got to tell them first. And like, I know this is making your bubble real small, but you've got to also stick with the people who will allow that. Like, if somebody came up to me and was like, you gotta say Z's, I would be like, I wouldn't even say Z's because it's not part of the English dictionary. One, it's not slang either. it really isn't slang, I would just start saying the name, which is a lot more
useful.
Useful and respectable, to be honest.
Hmm.
You know, so it doesn't sound like if somebody came up to me like that, I'd be like, are you good? Are you good? Okay, but I would just be like, I'll just use their name.
Yeah,
which I honestly find more respectful than saying he, she.
So some of the LGBTQ people, they want it to be like put into like
the English
like actually become part of the culture and be identified or respected in that way, right? And that's my culture, and I want everyone else to accept that. So that sort of, and like if they aren't, so if no one tells that like they're wolf kind or Z and Zer or whatever, then they feel like they're being discriminated against, and it's against human rights and stuff, and like it's hate speech and stuff like that. So it's like, again, where do you draw the line? How much? And is their argument even real?
Honestly, I think it's a really dumb argument, just especially because I still believe that you don't have to be put into any group. You don't.
Yeah, you have a different ideal. Like,
yeah, like he and she is just basically on your anatomy. That's it. It's not on your personality or anything like that. Like you could be feminine, you could be a dude and be feminine as. I'm still gonna call you a he because you have boy parts. But if you transformed into a girl and you didn't have boy parts anymore, you had girl parts. I'd be like,
so what about transgender who have male parts maybe, but behave, act, etc., as a female?
Oh, good point. Yeah. Well, then I'll just
say he.
I'll say she because they're at least one or the other, but not Zer.
Yeah, that's totally. That's where I also agree as well. I think people are either male or female and identify as he or she. Get it? So transgender person would, for example, have a penis and balls, but identify as a woman. And so that's fine. So they're male, but they're a woman.
So you just
transgender. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right? And they call them a she. Right? And same as the other way around. They have vagina, right?
But if they're like,
but they act, behave, and etc. as a man, then it's a man.
Yeah, it's a dude.
He.
Yeah. Well, okay, see, that's one thing that we'll have to get into next time. But what is a definition of a male personality and a female personality? Because you and I don't always think the same.
Correct.
Don't always have the same opinion.
Correct.
Does that make me a female because you're a male?
No.
Yeah, so then how does a male act and how does a female act? So that's got to do with
that will take another half an hour.
Yeah, that's another whole situation where that's why I believe like the whole gender fluid stuff is just based on personality. Like you don't have to. I know you have to be included into something. You want to be included, but like it's okay to be unique. It's okay to have your own personality.
I think you need both, man. Like you need to be part of a group. You need to identify with a male thing or a female thing because we can physically identify each other like that. Oh look, I have a dick. Oh look, you have something different.
Yeah, but that's physically, not mentally at all.
Like, I think it affects your mentality because we are different.
Okay.
So like we put ourselves in the group. Oh, we are the same because we both have penises. Oh look, we're the same because we have a similar skin color.
Just because we're straight males, are we not part of the LGBTQ community?
As far as I'm aware, yes, because we don't identify as
lesbian, gay.
Yeah, we can support.
Them, but we're not part of the community. We're not.
Ooh,
see that's exclusion right there.
No, it depends on what part means, like being a part of that community.
Oh, okay. So if you're supporting, you're technically a part of that community. But if you're not, but you're not one of them.
No, I'm not one of them. I'm not a lesbian, transgender, queer, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, all of that.
I'm a cis white No,
I hate that. I hate that.
Cis.
I hate the word cis
is
because it's
trans.
like the N word.
Oh.
People are using it like another conversation,
Like
another
nigger.
time. Mate!
What? It's only a word. Free speech, bro. Like that. I'm all about that.
Yeah, unless you use it like PewDiePie.
Do we want to bleep that out? Like, is it a bleeping out thing? No! We can say words. We should be allowed to say words.
Alright, and with that, should we just end it there?
Yes.
1 hour. Sweet,
1
peace!
hour.
Do you want to stop it on there as well?